hard to escape from the place you came from originally. So that I can imagine if you're from a very tight, close-knit village community, it's completely different than the village that there is here. But that's the first thing that sort of comes to mind when I think about village.
Nekem a falu szó az, ami mondjuk kicsit visszaveti az érdeklődésemet, de inkább, hogyha én azt mondanám, hogy közösség, akkor viszont nagyon érdekesnek találom.
The system is almost like an economic or social system that only happens at the level of a village, that I find quite interesting. Mm-hmm. From agriculture to raising animals to also the way how it's almost a closed loop of how things get sold and bought.
Like my family is quite dispersed, like around the world, so it's quite strange. You go to different families and like you go around the world and they're like all in one place. Like I study in Ireland, and the villages in Ireland are just crazy. It's like everyone has about 20 kids and they all know each other. Whereas say my family like quite dispersed and go live at one person's family. Like I say, go visit my granddad or something, and he's in a very small place. Go to someone else's, and they've got a really different relationship to their contact. And then second goal is actually to learn, like the chance to actually build something and then develop my idea of the village.
How we form our own village, whether it's physical or not physical, just creating a community.
I would think for an ideal village, I would think for a place like close again to the nature, but more open to a flow of people. So more open to more temporary also residents, not like only the permanent people living there every day, but also more open to new activities and new people that are coming from other cities or even other countries.
Not yet, maybe not yet a city with everything ruled and organized by major political source, or just having this maybe this evolution of tribalism.
Very slow pace life and very close dynamics.
You depend on them and they depend on you. So like that's I think the idea of the community itself. Like this village part is, as you said, like difference between tribe and village. I think that might be one evolution of the other. And it really, I think it creates this kind of dependency on each other. But as long as I think it keeps on growing and growing, and then you get diversity, and then you get to the city. But then the village might be this stage between things.
There's this phrase in Mexico, pueblo quieto, which is still town where nothing happens. I also would go back to the idea of the village within the city. Now that you were talking about migrants, there are many groups of people moving from small towns and villages to Mexico City, formed one of the biggest settlements now in Mexico City, which is Ciudad Nezahualcóyotl. There are more than 2 million people living there with no urban planning at all. I mean, Mexico City is very open, and it's not. Its urban planning is quite chaotic, but still this particular part of the city was born from migrants from the rest of the country. And it's interesting to see that within this huge extent of settlement, there are these small pockets, these small villages. Where they come from, they stick together and they form this. They stick to their same commerce, the same neighborhood, the same people, and it becomes this really, again, aggregation of villages.
A föld népességének a 70%-a városokban fog élni, és hát ez egy iszonyú nagy probléma.
The confirmation of huge failures again in planning and in thinking that we can't plan settlement.
You could go to the lady who sold the bread and she would greet you, and it was very familiar, like everything felt very safe and very like warm. So my reference to a village is a very positive.
As you have this sense of dependence on each other, I think you feel important in a sense. And in a city itself you don't. Like you feel like more as a part of it, but not really that someone else depends on you. Like in a village, if you have this dependence for the others on you, when you play this function or this dependence thing on the others, and then you really feel having a value on yourself.
Nehéz kívülállóként mondjuk becsöppenni, de ugyanakkor meg hogyha meg egy szoros köteléket is ad, tehát inkább ez ilyen bizalmas kapcsolódásokat jelent, amiben azért nagyon nehéz bekerülni, de kikerülni is.
Igazából soha nem éltem faluban, mindig csak így látogattam, és mindig a kívülálló voltam ebben az egészben, szóval valószínűleg igazán nem értem, hogy milyen faluban élni.
Nem rohan, tehát ha most a modern dolgok szerint gondolkodunk, ez slow mozgalomban abszolút beleírva, ezért lassuljuk le, ahonnan gyakorlatilag fel is gyorsultunk így, hogyha belegondolunk így, hogyha visszamegyünk pár száz évvel és így előre nézünk. És megint ez a trend, hogy egyes csoportok meg vissza akarnak lassulni.
A szépsége az egésznek a végén mutatkozik meg szerintem, tehát hogy nem arra kell gondolni, hogy most csináljunk valamit, hú ez nagyon ronda, akkor csináljuk szépé, hanem én mindig úgy voltam, hogy olyat kell csinálni, úgy kell igazából, mint olyan konstrukciót, meg az egész. Tehát igazából abba kell gondolkozni, hogy ne szép legyen, hanem jó legyen, hogy működőképes legyen, meg kiegyensúlyozott legyen, és aztán, hogyha kiegyensúlyozott és jól konstruál, jól meg van szerkesztve az egész, akkor szerintem szép lesz.